Alright guys, today we are going to be doing the carburetor on Dewalt 3000 PSI pressure washer. It's a Honda gx200. I also got this, this is rubbing on the pulley inside. This is an easy fix. You just get something in there and kind of pry it out, you know, just, you see all the plastic kind of where that inner pulley grinding a little bit. That should be, yeah, that's perfect. All right. Any of the parts I use for this video, I'll put in the description below. I'll put a whole brand new carburetor. They've got a whole kit that's like $40-something. It's carburetor, recoil, coil, air filter, spark plug, like everything you could possibly really need minor repair wise on this. I'll put that kit in the description below. I love buying them all the time. I always got extra recoils and stuff because I buy the carburetor. If I need the carburetor, I'll buy it with the recoil, or if I need a recoil, I'll buy it with the carburetor. Like I got spare carburetors and everything. So I'll put that in there in the description below as well. Alright, so first thing we need is 10mm. Oh, actually, you know, first take off the air filter assembly. Now this person has worked on their own machine and they forgot to put the drain bolt back in, so I held that shut with my finger and then tried starting it. It was trying to fire, but it was acting like the throttle wasn't hooked up or something. It just didn't want to fire up all the way. It tried firing, just didn't do it all the way. So we're just going to go ahead and pull it all apart, see what the hell they got going on in there. So, an air filter cover makes a good spot to put all your nuts and, you know, bolts and stuff in. Makes a good bowl. Alright, this guy off, air filter off. This little cover can come off. Alright, now you got 10mm here and 10mm here and here. Gonna get them off. You want the choke that way, the feel off that way, so when you pull this off it slides right out. It doesn't have to fight anything. This guy out. And this will slide off like so. The little hose came right out of the valve cover. Sometimes it'll stay in the valve cover and come off that side. Either way, doesn't matter. Goes back right on in. This choke arm comes off. Little gasket. This is a thick metal rubber gasket. You see this little notch goes to the upper right for when you reinstall it. This is flooding out, so there's an issue there. When I was holding it, must have been flooding. We're going to take a pair of pliers. I can find my pliers. There's all the pliers. I'm going to grab this clamp, squeeze it, get it on up the fuel line. We're going to remove the fuel line. If you get up under the fuel line with a needle nose and just kind of pry it up, it comes up pretty easy. And then you pull it off. And we want a clear container to put the gas in. Guess what? First we're going to go ahead and pull this out to where it's pretty much almost level with the studs, and this arm will lift straight up out, and then the spring will come off as well. Carburetor's out. Now we're going to go ahead, drain whatever gas is remaining. We want to start with fresh brand new gas each time that we do this. Whenever you rebuild the carburetor, you want fresh brand new gas in it. You don't want the old stuff. Like this stuff isn't horrible. It's still kind of clear. It is starting to yellow a little bit. High octane has a yellower color. It could just be high octane. But high octane goes bad faster than low octane, because the small engines like this are carbureted. It's not fuel injected, so you don't want to use a high octane. It loses too much explosiveness and too quickly and isn't any good for the little motors like this. non-ethanol fuel all the way. Rec 90, that's the way you go, really. That's what I use in all of my personal equipment. And I have a generator I haven't started in 6 months. That thing will fire right up. So we're going to drain all this out. I'll come back. I'll stop the recording, come back when it's done draining. Alright, so it's pretty much hitting the end of the tank right here. You can see the gas isn't horrible. I'm going to dump it in my oil disposal container though. Alright, so if you don't have air hose, pump some fresh gas in there. You want to make sure you rinse all the old gas out. Make sure you look inside. Make sure there's no water in there. I'm going to use the air hose though. I want to get it all out. And really, honestly, air is the best way to do this. Because if you watch now that I've blown all this like this, I can see the water all over the gas, top of the gas tank. I really need to get it all out, but look in there. Look, there's water in the bottom of that. See that? That came out of the tank. So there is, the kind of like a reservoir, like a little pocket that goes below the filter that the water builds up in. But if the water gets past that, it goes down your line right into your carburetor. So you need to get all that out, and it can be a mess, but it needs to come all out. And I'm going to just keep doing this until I get it completely dried out. You can also unbolt the gas tank. There's 2 bolts on this side and this bolt over here. And you can take the gas tank off and clean it out that way. If you don't have air. Whatever way you got to. You just got to get it completely dry and completely dust free. I'll come back and blow it out again after I'm done doing the carb. Let me show you how to do the carburetor. Let me set up. Alright, again, 10 millimeters. So this person, like I said, took the drain bolt out. We will be putting a new one in. And then the drain bolt goes on the opposite side of the fuel inlet. It goes over here. So it's easily accessible. But, alright. And they really had that bugger tightened down too, didn't they? Maybe they never took the bowl off, but it's hard to believe with it facing the wrong way. Now, usually this bolt will have a lot of debris under it. That thing's really, really clean. Like somebody was in here cleaning it. A little bit of mud in there, not much, nothing major. Gonna pull this pin out. Boom. Now we can get the needle valve out. Needle valve looks good, doesn't look warped, the tip's pretty good. If you hold this and you do a circular motion on your pants, on your jean pants, it'll clean that needle valve out real good. So there's no debris on it, just clean it right off. 10 millimeter on this bowl. This is a sediment bowl, it catches sand and sometimes even a little bit of water. And it's looking good. There's water bubbles on the, see the bubbles? That's water droplets. So, and then there's a little bit of debris inside, nothing major, but that's definitely water in there, and that's probably the issue. Now I need a flathead screwdriver. Hold on, let me look for my. So it's just a normal number 2 screwdriver, but I ground down the sides, each side of it, so that it fits in here. Now you find the flathead slot. You hold this firmly, give it a little pressure, and then quick jerk. Boom. Then now that jet comes right on out. Just unscrew it. You'll start hearing it kind of making a clicking noise. It means it's at the bottom. Oh, don't lose it. Or if this tube and jet just fell right out, that's usually not how that happens. Usually you got to tappy the heck out of this thing. All right. Now there's another jet. There, no, it's the idle jet. People don't even notice. You take this idle screw out. A lot of people miss this part, and this will make it surge. If you don't clean this idle jet, it'll go wham, wham, wham. Take that out. See, there's a jet in the bottom of that. It's a plastic one, but it is a jet. Sometimes they're brass in the bottom. All right, now, this little screen here, we want to clean that out really well. We're going to just kind of rinse everything off really well. I'm going to do it off camera, but basically I'm just make sure everything's nice and cleaned out, no dirt, no nothing. Nice and clean. Bowl, I'm going to hold with my finger. Let's see, all that mud just kind of rinsed straight off. But you're going to get a little carb cleaner in there. Use your finger. Kind of just wipe around. Staining's okay. You just don't want any big debris in there. Any kind of even like a grain of sand will clog the jet. The jet is just so, the hole is actually so small in there that a grain of sand will clog it. All right? All right. Float needle valve, rinse it all off. A little collection bowl, rinse it out. Make sure, there's no debris, no water. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. This little cup in this bowl, make sure you scrape it out. Usually there's debris in there. Scrape it out, rinse it off, boom. All right, we're gonna get to the fucking important shit now. And I use this acid, I'll put it in the description below, to boil out these jets, if I can find it. All right, hold on. It's a 14 karat testing solution. I've tried all the other ones, they don't work. This is the one that works. I've tried making my own different acids. Some's too strong, melts right through the jet, ruins it. You don't want to do it. This stuff works every freaking time. It only takes like a drop or two. This, I can clean out, 50 to 75 carburetors with one bottle. All right, and it's cheap. I'll put it in the description below. But 1, 2 drops there, 1, 2 drops there. We're gonna let that thing simmer, boil. Once it's done simmering and boiling, light rinse. Look how shiny it's getting. And we get it flipped over. So we can balance this guy in the small end. And then we're going to do it again. See how shiny they got real quick? Drop or 2 in there. Simmer and boil. And that's going to really clean them. They're going to be like new. And then I'm going to blast through this. You'll see there's the hole that goes all the way through. It needs to go into that. See it's coming out of it. Oh, it's important that that is very clean all the way through. I'm going to get off camera and really put the pressure to it. All right, so that's nice and clean. That's ready. Rinse these off gently. And then blast them through. Make sure they're clean. All right, now everything's good and clean. We're going to put it back together. Flat side up. Flat side down. Flathead side up. We're going to, where'd my flathead screwdriver go? What did I do with it? Oh, she's sitting right here. Alright, wipe the screwdriver off on your pants, because if there's any dirt on it, you're just going to shove it right down into that jet. Get it in there, tighten it down. Nice and snug. You ain't got to overdo it where you're grinding out that brass. Nice and snug. We're going to get this guy in, just two flat sides. You want flat side against that flat side. Boom, just like so. Idle jet in, idle jets in. We need the idle screw in. And not so much mattering about where this is placed on these, because you never really run your pressure washer at idle. It's always pretty much full throttle. But I break to bring it down to where it's even amount of material on this side and this side. Maybe a little bit more on this side. Whatever, something like that. Alright, flip this over. We're going to give this guy a rinse again. We're going to rinse this out again. And rinse in here out again. We don't want any dirt. Dirt is not your friend in this job. And we're going to get these together. Needle valve inside. We're going to get this pin inside. Like so. And then we're going to rinse again. And rinse the bowl again. And we're going to put the bowl on. Drain away from fuel inlets. Rinse this bolt out again. It's in there. 10 millimeter, tighten it down. And then rinse this out one more time. Rinse out of here again. Get it on, 10 millimeter, tighten it down. Not over tight, just this is snug. And then let me go find a drain bolt for that guy. Alright, so this one I just pulled out. It's got rust on it. I'm just gonna rub it on the pants, like a little circular motion. Just kind of get it kind of scrubbed off. Rinse it really well. It's pretty good. It's not bad at all. Alright, put it into that drain bolt. Make sure it's got a gasket on the bottom of it. Like there's a gasket between this bolt and the bowl. And this one's got that gasket on it too. You can reuse all these gaskets, bowl gaskets, everything. I'll try to find them. If you can't find something, just message me. I'll look it up for you. No biggie. Alright, so all that's together, and let me get set back up. And I'll show you reinstalled. Yeah, I'm going to give it another blow. There's a few droplets of water in there still. Alright. I'm going to pull up this hose one more time. Alright, looking good, looking good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to put this, make sure you got the gasket behind here. You see how that looks? We're going to go ahead and put this on. I'm going to get it to where it's at the end of the studs right here like this. And then this throttle arm can stab right down in fairly easily, but it can always be a pain in the ass. And then this little spring, the spring's important. That also helps keep surging down. Where were you? It goes right underneath that rod. You know what? I'm going to do that first, because the freaking rod covers up the hole. Then that guy, get all the way down and make sure this is free moving. Nice. Get the needle nose pliers, grab the hose, stab it onto the carburetor, like so. Get all the way down into place. Get the clamp back in position where it goes. All right, and then we got to get the gasket. And get in on again, like that little, I said, that little notch top right. And then choke arm in position. Make sure everything's moving freely. Air filter assembly. Again, choke arm and fuel inlet are this direction, so we can slide it right on, no problem. 10mm nuts. Nuts and 10mm bolts. Get all three started before you tighten them down. So we're going to go ahead and drop some gas in this real quick. You don't need to fill it up, you just need enough to cover up that screen, at least right now, because we want to make sure that this isn't going to be flooding or doing anything weird, you know. See the drain bolts over here, easy to get to. Put this gas cap on, and I'm just going to go ahead, turn the fuel on, switch on, chokes on, throttles up. We're going to see if she fires up real quick. Hopefully there isn't anything else wrong with it. Could be a bad plug or anything as well, but obviously there was a water issue in this. Let's see what happens. Turn the choke off. It's flooded out, I can tell. So we're going to go ahead and pull the spark plug. Before you ever try to start it, check the oil. Oil's low. We're going to add some oil to it. That could have been the issue as well. Besides the water and the carb. Oil in there. And then I'm gonna try it now because I just have a feeling that it's gonna fire up because I'm an idiot. Low on oil. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's how you put the carb, you rebuild the carburetor on these. Non-ethanol fuel will help tremendously keep the water out of there. Ethanol actually absorbs water right out of the air. If you take a big stainless steel bowl and you put ethanol gas in there, after like half an hour or even less than that, sometimes it depends on how humid it is, it'll start boiling. And then once it's done boiling, there'll be water on the bottom of the bowl. It's crazy how fast it actually sucks it out. Obviously in a tank, the vent is much smaller, a lot less water is introduced at one time than in a big bowl, but it still is introduced and it still gathers up. Especially if you got a fuel tank that's got no cap on it, it's just sucking it out of the air. Use non-ethanol fuel, it's much better, doesn't do that. Alright guys, I'll put all the stuff that you might need in the description below. Click on any of the links, ask any questions. Don't be a dick, you'll get blocked. Peace.